Hello and welcome to my second week update of my process through the Thrive programme. I'm feeling good this week and I'm just going to talk you through some of the things I've had to do this week and some of the changes that I've noticed in myself and also a few of the things that I've been struggling with. Last week where I left off was that I just either read or was going to, I think I'd read the self-esteem part of the book, which talked about how you have to notice all of the positive things that you're doing, the positive things that you're capable of, and process these things and this list every day. So I've been doing that. It still feels a bit odd, and I've been reassured that it will still feel a bit odd, which is fine, but I'm still doing it because I feel like I've just got to give it my best shot. But I have been noticing the positive things a lot more, which I think is the point, to be honest. So I think that's going well. My superstitious behaviour has near stopped. I mean, I still think about walking over 3 drains every time I do it, but I still do it and I don't feel worried about it because I understand now that it's really silly. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that. So we've moved on in the book. So I've gone on to, I'm on chapter 9 now. So I've read belief systems, cognition, locus of control, self-esteem, social anxiety was the next chapter that I read. And that just sort of referred to all of the things that I do as a result of me worrying what other people think of me. And I feel like that was a really good chapter because I'm not in the most obvious sense of the term a socially anxious person. Like, I'm very sociable. I will go to every party. I will go on every night out. I don't think twice about going to the pub, about inviting people round, about walking into a room full of people. None of that bothers me at all. So in the general sense, I don't consider myself socially anxious. But there are a lot of other things in here that I do that mean that I do have quite high levels of social anxiety. In recognising that, the book has also given me another action to challenge my socially anxious thoughts, such as things like, are those people thinking about me? Like, what are they saying? I better not do this in case these people think this about me, things like that. And every time I feel like I have a thought like that, I just have to forget about it and just do the thing anyway, which I have been doing. I had a presentation last week and in the morning I thought, oh, what are these people going to think of me and my presentation? And then I just cut it out. I was like, no, not even going to think about it because it doesn't matter. Their opinion of me doesn't influence me at all. The next chapter was a really, really short one. And that was just talking about the Thrive factor and how the 3 things that we mentioned before, the locus of control, self-esteem and social anxiety, all come together and how they influence each other and how increasing and lowering each one can lead to you thriving. So that chapter just sort of summarises what you've learned so far. We then went on to talk about personality types, and this chapter is really useful, especially the exercise where you have to pick out parts of the personality type that fit you and then your partner or your friend or your family member. So I did mine about Michael and I picked out all the things about him that I think he does. And in doing that, I think you notice things more in other people. So it was easier for me to pick out things quite quickly without thinking about it. And then I went back and thought, actually, I do that as well. So that must mean that I have this trait as well. So in doing that, that was really useful. It sort of made me realise what type of person I am and how my behaviours are so unhelpful to my fear. So I've sort of tried to work on this week, not brooding over things. If I start feeling a bit anxious or have a thought about something, I just try and stop it immediately and just think, no, I'm doing this to myself, which has been really useful. I've stuck all over my room stop brooding, process your positives, negative to positive thoughts, which I'll go on to in a minute, and things like that. And also post-it notes that say, what am I thinking? I've put in the kitchen and in here as well, to remind me to challenge my thoughts. Chapter 8 is a big chapter, like it is a hefty chapter. I'm gonna have to go and read it again a few times, I think, but that's about unhelpful thinking styles, and that chapter was really hard for me. It's the first time that I've sort of come across something that I feel like I can't do, so I did stop reading the book this week to focus on the other actions for a bit longer, like developing my internal locus and my self-esteem, just to try and improve my coping mechanisms, ready to then continue with the book. So I feel like that's an okay thing to do as well, in just sort of, because it is quite full on, and in taking a step back from the book, because I did feel like I kept reading and it kept telling me more and more things to do, and I didn't feel like I'd done the previous things well enough or for a long enough time for them to really take a big effect on my life. So I just took a break for a bit, and then I've started reading again last night. The Unhelpful Thinking Styles talks about all of the ways that you can think and all of the thoughts that you can have that can in turn lead to you maintaining your fear. So thinking negatively, thinking black and white, like it's either this or this, there's no in between, it's either horrible or it's great. Being paranoid, being obsessive, blowing everything out of proportion, like over exaggerating everything, things like that. And in reading about these things, I've realised where I do them, and it's made me realise that I'm doing this to myself. I'm thinking like this, I'm doing this, and it's not helping, which has been useful as well. So this is what I'm going to be focusing on this week. So yeah, that's sort of where I got to. I started chapter 9 last night, which I'm going to carry on reading now, and that's about minding your language. And if you say, oh God, I feel horrible, I'm in such a bad mood, that automatically sets you up to think like that and reinforce it. So it's about changing the language in your head and as you're speaking, to just create a more overall positive outlook, and that you can do this, you can achieve this, you're going to be fine, there's nothing to be scared of, you're being obsessive, you're being paranoid, and things like that. And just reinforcing how you're doing this to yourself, it's not happening to you, is what I've taken from this chapter, which I think has been really useful. I have struggled, only in that, because I am a busy person, like I have show rehearsals, I am always doing things with my flatmates, I am in uni, if not, I'm out meeting people for things that I have to do on my course, and I don't always have time to every minute of the day be challenging my thinking and thinking about my inner voice. And I think it's also helped me in that, because I'm a perfectionist, I can accept that no, I can't do it all the time, but as long as I'm doing it every day at intervals, I'm still maintaining it. And I just need to be okay with that. And I think I am. Like, obviously, I'd love to just sit and just absorb myself in it and just do it and get through it and get over it, but it's going to take a bit longer because I just have so many other things to think about as well. I'm still doing it. I'm still noticing improvements in myself. The other day I drank some milk that went out of date on the day that I drank it. I was fine. I ate some yogurt that had already been open for 3 days. I ate it on the 4th day, and I thought about eating it on the 5th day, but then I actually just didn't want yogurt, so I didn't. And then, yeah, but I did eat it on the 4th day. I reheated pasta a couple of times, not with meat in or anything, but I was always too scared to reheat it even without meat in. I've done that a couple of times, didn't even think twice about that. Last night I cooked myself a pizza, and it wasn't like completely cooked, like it was quite soggy on the bottom, and for a bit I had some thoughts, and I felt a pain in my stomach, which was obviously just because I'd just eaten a whole pizza and had some beer, like that's just what happens, and had a little pain in my stomach, and I started getting a bit worried, but then I managed to just stop it So yeah, I have noticed some differences in myself, and a couple of my friends haven't been well this week, and I've managed to just think about it rationally and not get in a state about it. And although I have thought about it, although I've had the thoughts, I haven't felt anxious, I haven't felt sick because of it. And before I know it, a few hours later, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened, and I haven't been brooding about it all day. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot more in control and a lot more like I can do it. Another thing that I've been reinforcing, and that I was reinforcing the other night before a night out actually, one of my flatmates said, would you be able to come with us if we were going to be sick? And I was thinking about it, and obviously it's easy to say in that moment, say, yeah, it'd be fine, and like knowing that you might not necessarily feel the same in like when you're there. But I just said, being sick's not a big deal. And that's something that would have scared me to have said a few weeks ago, but now I'm just getting used to it, and I'm getting used to every time someone brings it up, I'm like, it's just not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's nothing to be scared about. It just happens. Like it's not scary. And then one of my friends was sick on that night out, and I did go with her. I didn't go like into the cubicle with her to be sick, but I took her, and I was watching her the whole time, checking she was okay. Which usually I just try and not look and try and look away, but so yeah. No, I'm noticing things that I'm being able to do. I'm not washing my hands as much. Like, I wash them when I get in from being out, but I think everyone does that, but not when I'm in the flat. I won't do it as much, because there's no need. So yeah, that's my week 2 update. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week with another update. Bye!